Morning, day, evening, or whatever it is you're having right there. For this Saturday video, I was totally actually planning something else, but due to the limits of time and other excuses, I came up with a different idea. And this so-called game started by accident when I was actually doing the classic review for this month, which I won't just mention right here, not yet anyway. Let's keep it as a secret for a while. And as such, I noticed once again a thing which I have noticed previously on Metal Archive site. That is something which I refer as the index number. Let me explain by switching to the Metal Archive site and then explain the rules of this game. Here we have Black Sabbath. And why Black Sabbath? Because it's one of those bands that if I started to do a, say, metal kind of a database site or whatever, I would probably start with it. Not because it's my favorite band, it's not, never been a fan of it, but because it's one of those originators and probably the first band ever to record a metal album. Now, this brings me to the index number. If I move just my cursor right here on the address bar, you will notice the number after the name of the band. As you can see, it's 99. Now if you take a modern band from Metal Archive site, you will notice quickly it doesn't even have index number, but just totally something else. I'm not gonna make random clicks here to show you what I mean, or maybe I should. Let's see if Similar Artist gives you this one. Probably won't, but let's give it a shot. For example, this doesn't really work. It's way too new band to have the name, the index number, but at least it's something like 1800. Considering there's over 120,000 bands on Metal Archives, well, it's gonna be different. For example, this band, which is for a lot newer, doesn't have running index number, because there is no clearly this amount of bands. So let's just focus on the earlier bands. And now you would wonder, what is the number one band? Now, like I was saying, I was guessing it would be something like Black Sabbath. Or maybe it should be Iron Maiden, which I can tell you it's not. But in order to find it out, you have to just click it. This is number 25. And then you're starting to wonder, if Black Sabbath is 99, Iron Maiden is 25, surely it has to be something bigger, something around the same name. But even Metallica is number 125. So clearly it's not based on the size of the band, not the age of the band. What if we just type in Judas Priest? Well, no cigar, this is 97. Which makes it curious, how is the index born? Well, to be honest, it has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with the age of the band. Well, until certain era. Let's play this game for a little bit before I give you this kind of a homework to do. Just kill some time because of coronavirus and whatever. For example, if we take a look at Slayer, it's 72. So we're getting closer, but not as close as to Iron Maiden with 25. If we go to a more extreme style, and this is kind of a funny thing, especially if you happen to know what Burzum is about, this is curious thing. It must be a coincidence, but still you want to figure out, is it really? Burzum being band number 88. Yes, and if you don't know what 88 means, well, you can just pretty much Wikipedia it, or just Google it. 88 for Burzum. Giggles ensues. Anyway, should we look more modern bands? Should we go different directions? I don't know. Let's try this one. Actually, I know the answer for one because this kind of brought up a kind of conversation with one of the friends on Metal Rauta Discord servers about Metal Archives. Here you see Cradle Field 24, and it's way nearer than bands such as Slayer, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath. So like I said, it has nothing to do with the age of stuff. Now, I'm not going to give you all the names here, obviously. But for example, when I was browsing through the names and trying to guess which one would fit like in the top 10, in the top 20, many of the bigger bands were actually around 100 and 150. Bands like, Slayer, for instance, and not Slayer, but Metallica and many other bands are around that era. If you, for example, if you I don't know, type Anthrax, for example, you can pretty much see some of the names I have been typing in here. For example, Anthrax is 169. So many of these old names are around 100, 150 or between 200 or something like that. But then you could try something which are probably the bands that were famous around the time when Metal Archive's creator were young. And then you will start find the clues. To give you a hint, In Flames 11, being a 1990s band, but then again, obviously Metal Archives wasn't created in the 90s. Now, if you want to avoid next spoiler, shut your eyes for a few seconds. I will tell you when to open them again, because now I will type the band number 1. I won't even say it loud in case you're just shutting your eyes, but this band is the number 1 here. Wouldn't have guessed, wouldn't have seen that coming. Now, the homework for you people is trying to figure out what it is. And just to break the pattern here, I'm gonna show you Mortis, for example, being 81. Nowadays, even bands such as this, being non-metal bands, wouldn't even be accepted to Metal Archive side because it's obviously only metal. You can pretty much figure it out that there are no even metalcore bands listed. Even some of the more rockier bands are not accepted. For example, Rammstein isn't here. It's more metal than many of these bands. I've added some bands which were never accepted, even though in my opinion they were clearly metal, but they were decided to be more like rock. I don't know where the exact line between hard rock and metal goes, but rest assured that they are way more metal. Mortis already other like, or even bands like Rush, for example, they're progressive rock, and here they are listed. Well, maybe because they played metal at some point. So the point here being is that try to find the top 1 names. Now, I know one way which can really help you to find out the ones, but we decided to call it cheating. So I'm not giving you this help. We figure out most of the names from 1 to 15. Some of them are old as hell. Well, at least pretty old. And some of them are rather unknown, so it's really hard to find those all. You find them all. Cat, please shut up. So trying to kill your time in case you're wondering, you're listening to some music and you're wondering what to do. You're figuring out which ones are the, say, top 25 names. Now you have number 1, you have number 11, and you have the number 25 being Iron Maiden. But what are the other bands from 1 to 25? And if you want to make it even more interesting, if you want to kill even more time, try to find everything from 100 to from 1 to 100. There are bands like Mayhem which are gonna fill just in nicely with Burzum and with Black Sabbath and all that stuff. But I can pretty much guarantee there are lots of bands you don't even know about. So this is also a great way to find new bands you have never ever even heard of. Not to mention being listening to them. To find out maybe new bands which you actually might end up liking. So whenever you find a name, feel free to put them on the comment box below. This can be as much a competition or just for your personal fun to explore these bands. So I'm not gonna limit you what to comment and what not. And even if in case you feel this is just waste of time, you're not gonna do it, then don't. No need to post about it. Jerry, this was the most stupid idea ever you pulled off on this channel. I'm aware of that. This is kind of stupid, but also for me it's kind of interesting to figure out which kind of bands were added in which order. Let's just say it can pretty much surprise you because there are a lot of bands in the early numbers, early index numbers versus the rest. And that's what makes this interesting, and also it kind of reminds you of bands which you might have even forgotten by now. With all this information being said, start browsing through your metal archives and good luck finding these bands. I'm gonna end up with Battery, because Battery is one of the greatest bands of all time and I've been listening to it lately. So you can pretty much expect a video coming out about Battery this spring. With these words, have fun browsing your bands and feel free to comment them on the comments box below. Have fun. Bye bye.